Let's bring on board Girish Nadkarni, MD at Motilal Oswal Investment Advisors. He joins us on the show right now. Girish, hi, morning. Good run for the markets in the last 2-3 months. Is it time to take chips off the table, or would you advocate fresh money being put in?
Well, I think if you're trading for the short term, the markets have run up quite a bit, but I think this momentum will be sustained. What we're actually seeing playing out in the market, and my view is no different from most others, is that we're seeing a virtuous cycle being played out, and the sheer expectations plus the money flow is causing the economy to roll, and the multiplier effect of that is being played out. I think with money coming into the Indian economy and the momentum of that money, we will see a lot of industries, you'll see demand sustaining, and with the benefit of the weakening interest rates, you'll see markets going up in the medium term significantly, I think.
Girish, what you've outlined and neatly summarized is what could go wrong, but there are a lot of factors which could go wrong as well. If I look at globally, the big challenge is tapering. If I look at China, there's a big issue there. If I look at valuations, they're not looking all that supportive. Economy has not recovered and inflation is still sticky.
Yeah, so I guess some of those factors could cause a short-term correction in the market, but a lot of funds and retail, for example, is fairly under-invested in equities. So at every correction, there is going to be people who will be left out buying into the markets. Plus the fact that what we've seen on the downward spiral in terms of a complete blockage, I would put it, in terms of money flow in the economy. I think the same vicious cycle which played out in the last 3-4 years, we're seeing a virtuous cycle playing out, as I mentioned. So I would think that despite small corrections in the market, the overall trend is definitely is up, and this is despite aberrations and hiccups. There will be expectations that will get belied. I think expectations have run up quite a bit, but those are only correction opportunities, buying opportunities in the market, I guess.
What about valuations? The Sensex now, based on FY16 estimates, I'm not looking at FY15, let's assume FY15 things will improve with a lag effect. So Sensex valuations based on FY16 estimates are now at about 14-15 times. By any yardstick, that's not cheap.
No, I don't think the market is cheap, but you could be surprised with the expectations, actually playing out better than what estimates have been made right now. And those estimates will, on a rolling basis, they will get revised upwards. FY15 will. The reason why people are looking at FY16 is because FY15 will not have the impact of the momentum being played out, and therefore people are looking at consolidation in FY15 and FY16 being played out on a better scale. I think those earnings estimates will keep moving up as the quarters go by, and therefore markets will not be as expensive, let's say 3 quarters down the line based on FY16 estimates. But your point is right. On today's FY16 estimates, they look reasonably valued, but there is still upside as the earnings will surprise positively.
Girish, quite clearly the flavor of the day seems to be cement, and this is not just a one-off move. We've seen a consistent build-up coming in the sector. Prospects of infrastructure development also kicking in well for the sector per se. What is your own sense? Can one still get into the cement pack, and if so, what names do you like?
Without getting into individual stocks, I think like in most other industries that are connected with infrastructure or manufacturing, 2 things will play out. One is demand will play out in a big way as investment activity picks up, and cement is the most natural beneficiary of that demand being played out. 2 is a drop in interest rates will make debt less expensive, and therefore the debt on the balance sheets of cement companies, manufacturing companies, the impact or the burden on earnings the impact will reduce, and the earnings impact will be quite strong. So I think cement, like manufacturing and infrastructure companies, will be benefited quite positively.
Okay, check on Tech Mahindra. Just when we thought that it was time to go easy when it comes to large cap IT, Tech Mahindra is at a record high. In fact, it is at a 52-week high. which means it is almost close to a fresh all-time high, 1973. Tech Mahindra has moved independently of what the IT index has done. So let's look at the IT index move in last 1 month, and let's map it with Tech Mahindra. In last 1 year, of course, Tech Mahindra has doubled. It has appreciated by more than 100%. That's the IT index for you. It's flat. It has really hugged down to that flat line in last 1 month, but Tech Mahindra in last 1 month has appreciated by about 12%. So it has moved independently of what is happening to the IT market per se. Girish, not everything in the IT space is a sell.
I agree. I think the view that people are taking is that there are other sectors in the economy which will perform better than IT and consumer. IT and consumer, which were the star sectors till last year or till early this year, they are now looked at as the defensive sectors, and what people want to play is the high beta sectors right now. Having said that, I don't think there is anything significant negative other than the currency appreciation for IT stocks, because demand from the global economies continues to be fairly good and robust, and therefore I would certainly think that these stocks, while they may underperform the broad market, they in an absolute sense will continue to deliver reasonable returns to investors.
Okay, Girish, stay with us. We're going to take a very quick break and come right back with you.
Alright, welcome back. It's official now. Government will increase urea prices by at least 10% to curb the subsidy burden. I guess indirectly they are really setting the stage for a gas price hike, because if gas price hike goes up, cost of urea production will always move up. Now that urea prices will go up, I'm sure urea companies and the Urea Manufacturing Association will not have too much to complain even if gas prices are increased. For every $1 increase in gas price, the subsidy on domestic well-produced urea companies will increase by about 2,000 to 2,500 crores. So 10% hike surely will fix the subsidy bill. But if gas prices they go up, that really will be compensated very smartly.
And look at the move coming in the entire fertilizer pack. An immediate spike up. RCF is holding up by about almost 7%. NFL should come up for you on your screens next. That as well is looking pretty smart right now in trade. Fact, pick up any stock actually from the fertilizer universe. This is looking good. Nikun just pointed out as to how this all seems to be just building up the stage and gathering momentum for a price hike, or rather for a gas price hike when it comes to the oil and gas movers. So I just want to quickly revisit those names as well, and whether or not there is any impact coming in for the likes of an ONGC or for that matter Reliance. That should come up for you on your screens. ONGC, after that big move in Friday's session, still status quo. Reliance is perhaps the more pertinent one to bring up, and that as well is still looking a little bit eased out right now at 1,114. That is where Reliance is. Girish, just want your views firstly on this news that has come about. Government looking to raise urea prices and how that acts as a beneficiary for the fertilizer space.
Well, it definitely improves the profitability of the sector. However, the sector, the major problem with the fertilizer sector, especially urea manufacturers, is more to do with the working capital requirements and the funds that are blocked, because of that. I think that's a bigger problem. But the fact that urea prices have increased will be a significant positive for the urea manufacturers. So I think in that sense, for the companies, it is positive. What will need to be watched is the impact on the food prices as a result of the increase in the fertilizer prices, although that will play out with a slightly lagged effect.
For the longest time, power companies, fertilizer companies, urea companies, they have objected to a gas price hike. All of them, in fact, against the new gas price regime. Now that power prices are likely to move up, urea prices have been increased. Do you think these industries will not complain that much? Some of the factors for complaining have been taken away. So I guess if the impact of the gas price hike is in line, then it's the single most important factor as far as urea production is concerned. If that gas price hike is in line with the hike in the prices, I think eventually the profitability will come back and settle at normal, but the complaining part of it will be reduced, I guess. markets have absolutely re-rated policy-sensitive groups, be it oil and gas, stocks, urea stocks, sugar stocks. Do you think now, given the kind of initial feelers we've got from the NDA government, from PM Modi, from the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, do you think some of these extreme policy-sensitive stocks will make a lot of wealth?
Well, that is it's a difficult call to make because you're trying to second guess what the policy is going to be. I think there are better sectors to play out in the market. And I think the best sector to play out right now is the banking and finance sector. I think you'll see a lot of money coming into banking. You're clearly seeing a downward trend in interest rates. So I think instead of playing some of the sectors where you're second guessing what the policies are likely to be, and there could be some disappointments if specific policies that you're aiming for do not happen, it is better to play economy stocks in general. I think manufacturing will benefit in general. Banking will be the first big beneficiary, and therefore banks, especially public sector banks, which are pretty undervalued, I think it's better for investors to play that game rather than to second guess policy measures.
So what's the overall expectation then, Girish, from the budget, considering that is being looked at as, the next trigger point for the markets wherein they're going to take further direction?
Well, there are definite indications or expectations about, policy measures, especially in insurance, for example. People are expecting that to play out. People will closely watch the impact of hike in gas prices, if there is any. People will watch statements on FDI and retail. So those are the policy announcements that one expects. But what is more relevant and what people have been wanting so far is for the government to have a coordinated action plan on interministerial coordination, which I think is happening, and therefore people are already discounting that bit really. So the expectations from the budget will be people will closely watch some of these policy initiatives, but I think what is more important is how the whole coordination plays out between the government departments.
Girish, is it wishful thinking to imagine that we will get a strong and a path-breaking budget because A, 45 days is too little, B, what the NDA government has inherited, they've inherited a weak economy which lacks any kind of a fiscal ammunition. So there is very little the finance minister could do because there is a constraint on the fiscal side to really improve the economy.
Yes and no. I think there is a lot of weakness that has crept into the fiscal system because of the in the past few years. Having said that, the finance minister also has the benefit of a completely changed economic sentiment, a lot of money flow coming in, a stronger currency, interest rates being weak. So those are also positives that that will help him in maintaining a right balance as far as the budget is concerned.
I'm just going to revisit Tech Mahindra, and again the point I want to mention here is that Tech Mahindra is now sitting at a record high. This is one large cap IT stock which has moved independently of what has happened to the IT index per se. 1973 for Tech Mahindra. Girish, as a house, I know your firm is bullish on Tech Mahindra. What is the way forward toward Tech Mahindra? Do you think bulk of the easy money has been made in Tech Mahindra?
Well, I would want to comment, Nikunj, on individual stocks. I think I'll restrict my comments to sectors.
What's the view then in metals? Because clearly the sector seems to be gathering steam, and it seems like a bull market is already, building up if it hasn't already, taken a start. What is your own view and preference when it comes to the metals universe?
I think as a sector, I think metals would be a second preference because the profitability and the impact of measures. Metals as a sector is largely dependent on global prices and less dependent on the domestic factor. So while demand in India will play out for, let's say, steel because of an increase in infrastructure activities and manufacturing activities and investment in general, the prices of steel will be still determined by global factors. So how that will help in the bottom lines of companies, it will probably not happen so soon. So I think metals, we will have to individually look at specific metals, how the global prices are, and then take a call on that. I think as I said earlier, there are better sectors to play, which are directly correlated to the economic growth, and I think those are better plays.
Auto companies which gather most steam from the domestic demand be a good play then?
Absolutely. I think auto and auto ancillaries is a great sector to play because it is a direct beneficiary of economic growth. The demand for CVs has been at an all-time low. The demand for passenger cars is just about picking up. Any improvement in the per capita or the GDP will definitely have to be, it will lead the rally. So I think auto and auto ancillaries is a great sector to play.
But Girish, the argument what you are presenting, the fact that consumer demand will pick up, auto demand will come back, some would argue that markets are already capturing in that thesis because Maruti is now at 2500, Hero MotoCorp is well above 2000 rupees, Tata Motor has moved from 380 to about 450, Ashok Leyland in December was at 15 rupees, now it is at 35 rupees.
To a certain extent, I would say to a large extent, some of the upside has been played out. However, as I said earlier, the extent of impact on bottom lines because of a sharp increase in demand will play out over the next 4 to 8 quarters. And as we get along, into let's say next year, what will be relevant is FY17 numbers, not FY16 numbers, and with a probably better than expected profitability and turnover figures for auto and auto ancillary companies. I think they will begin looking cheap, let's say 12 months down the line. So you could witness a scenario where because of the sharp increase, the prices will continue to remain at or around these levels for some time, but as demand picks up and as on a rolling basis the next year gets considered for valuations, you will see a upside further in these companies.
Girish, so if someone walks up to you with a 10 lakh rupee check, I know you don't accept 10 lakh, it's a low-end token for you, but let's say if you get a 10 lakh rupee check, how would you allocate that?
I think banking, auto ancillaries, cement would be the preferred sectors for investing that money. I think consumer, technology, pharma are probably some part of it will go because they are defensives, and consumer demand which will follow investment demand, so they will play out much later. I think the immediate impact, I think these are sectors one would like to put the money, at least a large part of the money.
Okay, Girish, good chatting with you. Really appreciate you taking the time out and speak with us today. That's the view from Girish Nadkarni from Motilal Oswal. Revisit what the market is up to. Still holding up. 76.44 is where we're at for the Nifty spot right now. Ashwini, your closing thoughts and your strategies.